Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you like this watch, you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we're discussing the 2017 to present Grand Seiko Spring Drive GMT Chronograph SBGC203. So it is the successor to the 003, the only difference being for 2017 to present, we now have Grand Seiko blazon at 12 o'clock, or perhaps I should say 11 o'clock on this offset chronograph dial, rather than Seiko as a standalone. The timepiece features the same easy fit and immense array of complicated features that you remember from the 003. On my wrist, 16 centimeters in circumference, the timepiece measures approximately 43.5 millimeters across the round of the case, not including its outsized chronograph pushers and crown. It's reasonably thick. This is a reasonable thickness, so that means it can easily slide underneath a jacket cuff, so it's reasonable, but it is also thick at 16.5 millimeters thick. Now, some watches have more of a sheer side, some have more of a stepped and sloped side, and this is the latter. You won't be able to fit it underneath a tight dress cuff, such as a French cuff, but you will fit it underneath a sport jacket or a dress coat. You'll also note lug-to-lug. This one's actually fairly constrained at 50.7 millimeters. It wears easily on a wrist of 16 centimeters, and I would say if you wear it on the bracelet, whose end links do extend the watch to 52.2 millimeters. It probably has a lower wrist limit of 14 to 14.5 centimeters circumference if you want to wear the watch with decent security and proportion, but a big wrist will wear this watch perfectly and with superb proportion. There is a spacing of 21 millimeters in between the lugs, so if you wish to accessorize with a OEM or aftermarket strap, and you will find a bevy of options, 21 millimeters is the size. The bracelet is beautifully made. You can see tapered. It's a three-link design with a combination of polish and satin. One of my favorite features is the rounded profile of the links themselves. You can see how the polished outer faces are slightly rounded over to the tops, thoughtfully detailed, nicely executed. It feels substantial, but not rigid on the wrist. You can see there are individual removable links fixed by screws, and on the underside, broad channels to vent the wrist and avoid pinching skin or pulling hair. The clasp is nicely made, and as you can see, there are several positions that you can access with your strap tool to micrometrically size. And the clasp itself is released by twin triggers, so no friction fit system and no cheap clamshell. This is an upscale release mechanism that gives you confidence when the watch is on the wrist. A 100-meter water-resistant sports watch in steel. You will wear this watch through almost all occasions, so that clasp security will be much appreciated. I'm going to grab one of my polishing cloths here, my trusty JLC glove, and you will note that the case flanks of the watch feature the fabled optically smooth tin plate polishing methodology known as Zaratsu polish at Grand Seiko. It's tin plate polishing, which is to say a rotating disc made of tin is pressed directly by the artisan against the facing of the case. Now, this is used on both the bevels as well as the rounded sides, with the result being something approaching what the Swiss would call black polish. It's done by eye, it's done by feel, it is done entirely by manual dexterity and experience, so it's a bit of a miracle that the sides are so evenly finished, not just in optical quality, but in micrometric degrees of precision. The bevels are identical, the flanks are identical. How do you do that without computerized tooling? I don't know, but this is one of the few sub $10,000 watches you will find with a fully hand-finished case. Now, moving to the dial itself, there's a lot going on. The dial furniture is very upscale. All of the indices are applied. The indices as well as the hands have been finished by hand using diamond-tipped tools. You'll note they have both polished and satin-finished facets. The glint and the gleam, the precision and the sharpness, all the result of artisans who do just that all day, finishing hands and indices. The dial base itself is a matte black, and you'll note it's logically arrayed, as there is a 24-hour hand with a red tip that is your GMT or independent second time zone. It moves in one sweep of the dial per day. And then you have the power reserve scale at 7 o'clock, tracing the 3-day power reserve, minimally calibrated constant seconds at 9 o'clock, and then you can see the chronograph register for 30 minutes and 12 hours arrayed entirely on the 3 o'clock side next to the aperture set date with a monotone disc. It is a handsome, thoughtfully finished, and once you realize that the chronograph indications are localized, a very orderly and intuitive dial to read. Now there are oversized barrels about the chronograph pushers that you can screw up or down for greater or lesser water resistance as necessary when they are enabled, which is to say they're screwed out. You can see a black ring around the pusher, and when they are in position, which is to say the watch is attaining its maximum water resistance, you will not see that black ring. So when you see the black ring, you know that the sleeve has been threaded out of the way to allow the operation of the chronograph. The oversized crown features deep knurling and is easy to access at any time. Screw down, screw in case back, and you will note the caliber. A manufacture movement is a spring drive automatic 3-day power reserve. This is known as Grand Seiko manufacture movement 9R86. So you have the power reserve, you have the chronograph, you have the second independent time zone, and you have spring drive. So you can see that unidirectional wheel. I'll do my best to get really close here. See if I can bring everything into focus at a minimal distance from the camera. You can see that there is a wheel inside the movement that moves only in one direction. It doesn't bounce back and forth like a Swiss balance. It creates an induced electrical current energized by the mainspring with no motors, no batteries, no capacitors in the watch. That wheel creates an induced electrical current that wakes up a quartz oscillator, giving the watch quartz precision but mechanical watchmaking street cred. It's made by a watchmaker, tuned by a watchmaker. It is a lifetime serviceable movement, and the only motion you see on the dial is propelled by that spring. You'll also note that because the governing wheel moves only in one direction, all seconds indications move with a completely smooth sweep. They are geared to that governing wheel. So it's not a stop-start. It is the only system in the world that enables a completely smooth sweep of the seconds hand, and you get quartz precision with mechanical sole, plus or minus 15 seconds per month. You also get a traditional chronograph mechanism, as this features both a column wheel, which you can see in action with its levers and horns, with superbly crisp detent, and a vertical clutch, so there's absolutely no jump or stagger to the chronograph seconds. And if you want to leave your chronograph running, the vertical clutch lets you do that as well. There is that second time zone, and you will note when I wish to set the local hour, I can move it forwards and backwards across the international date line, driving the date in either direction, and the watch will not lose precision. Hours, minutes, chronographs, second time zone, all of that remains constant as I change my own time zone. And if I wish, I can pull the crown to extremity and I can hack the movement, activating stop seconds for precise time setting. It has just about every sports watch feature you could wish for except lume, but you've got Grand Seiko divers for that. You can see this robust and robustly complicated Grand Seiko Spring Drive GMT Chronograph SBGC203 in stainless steel and make it yours on the watch box.